there's only two people on the planet who have retired Tom Brady, Lachlan Murdoch and this man, Jeff Darlington of ESPN, joining me here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Jeff?
That's a good one. What's up, Rich? How you doing, man?
I thought you'd like that introduction. Isn't this funny? I called you yesterday. I texted you yesterday saying, hey, how'd you like to come on and talk about that F1 race where everybody showed up in Miami like it was the Met Gala of sports, and what was going on there, because Brady was there hugging it out with Michael Jordan, and I wanted to get your 2 cents on Brady's future as well. And then we'll wake up today and see this news, and then heard from Andrew Marchand of the New York Post, 10 years, $375 million for Brady to do this. And now I guess we have our answers to why. Right, Jeff?
That is the why, right? And you know what the funny thing is, Rich, we're talking 6 months ago, Tom Brady wasn't thinking about being an NFL analyst. In fact, for years, that's been at the bottom of his list in terms of post-career ambitions. But as we've all seen this market just suddenly skyrocket, suddenly, I guess ambitions change. Then again, I guess, I don't really have any plans to become like a landscaper or a lawnmower, but you throw me $2 million and hand me a rake, and I'll be out there in the yard. And
it'll be a very lush front lawn, no doubt. Right. I'm sure you'll put some elbow grease into all of that. So, in all seriousness, when you were doing your reporting back in, I guess, what is that, late January now or early February, about Tom Brady's retirement or 1.0. This was not part of the plan, right? Or did it become part of the plan the minute that Fox heard he step away from retiring?
No, but as we saw, second only to perhaps the wide receiver market in free agency, this offseason, whether it be with Joe Buck, it's weird to talk about, by the way, our industry.
I know.
It says it's newsworthy, but it is. When Joe and Troy did their deals with ESPN, and suddenly Amazon was chasing Sean McVay, and that number started to go up. Suddenly this industry changed dramatically. Tony Romo, what he was making on his first deal, felt like a groundbreaking thing, and now it's not even top of the market, not even close. So. No, it really wasn't, as far as I have long understood, wasn't something that was on Tom's mind. But I think that's also why I've always sort of warned, even when it comes to like Miami Dolphins ownership. I think even maybe last time I was on here, we were kind of talking about, there's a lot of reporting about Tom going into that, and even when he was retiring the first time, the conversations were happening about that. But I kept warning people, until ink is dry on those deals, they're so complex and so nuanced, it's not done. And Brady has been talking for years, as most athletes do, about what he's going to do when ultimately it's not football anymore. And those are fluid conversations until someone plops down a 10-year deal worth $375 million, and then all of a sudden your plans are solidified.
Yeah, and then he's going to go do it when he's done. What's your best guess right now? First blush, ink still drying, T's being crossed, I's dotted on this deal with Fox Sports for Brady. What's your best guess when that 10-year deal starts? After this year? Another one? What do you think?
I would say after this year. I mean, look, I'm not even – this is not me trying to break news or anything like that, but logic prevails in this situation. And I know a lot of people like to joke, he'll play forever, and there's no reason to believe him anytime he says anything about retiring now. But I do think another thing we've talked about, Rich, is, look, he never liked the idea of a farewell tour, and I think that ultimately was part of the reason he decided to retire in January when he did, because it was like, I just want this to be done, and I want it to be clean and easy and over. And I think once he stepped back, he realized, wow, that's a bit misplaced thinking. Like, I need to do this exactly how I want to. So if I had to guess, I'd say he plays another year, and then he goes and does this. And it makes a lot more sense now that he does have a vision for what he's going to do after. Because ultimately, I know it's tough for all of us to realize, but Tom Brady is a human. And as such, it's not easy to have a 20-year legendary career and think about what comes after. Whether it's him dabbling in acting or whether it's his religion of sports or Shadowline production companies, all these different things that have piqued his interest, they all sound fun, but they're also very difficult projects to go after. Now this is something that keeps him in football, it pays him handsomely, and it allows him to continue to do a lot of those sort of pet projects and not necessarily have to just rely on them entirely for his pleasure away from the game.
Yeah, I guess that's the ultimate question, Jeff Darlington of ESPN here on the Rich Eisen Show. When you think about it, is the line of when he's retired. He will join us when he's retired. If that is just the fig leaf required to give Brady the farewell season without the farewell tour that I totally understand would leave him, chafing at that whole concept. Or that truly is something that Brady wants as an option, that if this year doesn't go the way he wants, or he does want to go to Miami, let's just throw it out there, right? I mean, because that was the spot where he was thinking about, it appears, now that this has all been discussed. Maybe that he wants that out, right? Like, but you think that's not it.
I don't know. I don't think it's as maybe trivial or Machiavellian is not the right, strategic, I guess. I really don't think that it is that strategic. I think this was truly this offseason. If you were talking in January, yes, the most likely thing that was going to come after his playing career was going to be ownership role, and perhaps even more so like getting involved within the organizational decisions. And most likely that would have been with the Dolphins. But again, we didn't see what was coming with the windfall of money within the broadcast industry. So that's where I'm saying things change. And I don't think that this is like, maybe I'll still go do the Dolphins. I mean, I think that this is, this is right up front money. This doesn't require an investment. This is me making more over the next 10 years than I made in 20 years as a player. That to me is not nearly as hard of a decision as maybe his post-career ambitions were 4 months ago.
Yeah, I guess he made only $37.5 million in a single season once, and that was last year, right? That's about it.
His career earnings were like $330 million, which is awesome.
Yes.
But I mean, this is more than that. It's mind-boggling. And literally, it is as incomprehensible as it is today. It would have been completely unfathomable 6 months ago if you said that Tom Brady was going to sign a 10-year deal that was going to pay him $37 million a year to broadcast games. That doesn't compute with what, for instance, Tony Romo was getting. So things changed for all of us, and it changed for Tom Brady as well.
Well, I mean, it's also Jeff Darlington. Apparently, he's an ambassador or something like that. They're gonna
for Fox. I think if someone pays you that much money, you're just a whatever the hell they ask.
Yeah,
right?
just like go shake that guy's hand, go shake that lady's hand, who's a major sponsor. I guess that's what it is. I don't.
I was in Augusta and at the Masters, and I was over at that like Berkman's Lounge, and Peyton Manning was standing out there shaking hands with the patrons. And I asked somebody, I said, "What's he doing over there?" He said, "Well, all the Masters, all the Augusta members, they have to work, and he's a greeter." Can you imagine that? Like Peyton Manning getting assigned that role?
Are you serious? He was a greeter as a member of Augusta National. They all work. They all get put to work. Is that right?
The members get put to work, and his role was to be a greeter. So sometimes,
greeting who? The patrons walking in the door.
Patrons. It was like Disney World, like when your kid goes up to Mickey Mouse.
Well, except those kids are allowed to photograph. That doesn't happen at Augusta National.
You can't have your camera.
I didn't know that about Peyton.
Reaching some unwritten rule, but it was in the public. It was in the.
You saw it. Yeah. You report what you see, Jeff. That's what you're a professional.
It was 25 people just waiting in line to shake his hand.
By the way, look at you, man. You're at the Augusta National in April, this F1 race. What the hell is that? So Stephen Ross was the host of this F1 race? I got to be honest with you, man. I mean, the Derby is the Derby. That I'm expecting to hit my timeline over. But Mother's Day, all of a sudden, you're like, why is Brady hugging Jordan, and where's he? What's he doing hanging out with Lewis Hamilton and Bex? And then
that's right.
What the hell was happening there?
It was awesome.
What is it? Where was it?
It was at the stadium,
okay.
the Hard Rock Stadium.
Okay.
And they've been working on it for several years. They literally built the track around the stadium, and then there was some areas where it was it was a who's who. It was unbelievable, to be honest. I mean, for the first year.
Drop more names. Go, Jeff. Go. I saw you took a photo with Mahomes. I saw that one on your Instagram.
I mean, I feel like a real. Am I allowed to say the D word?
You can. We're all thinking it, so go ahead.
Okay. There's a lot of people there. I mean, at one point in this room, it was like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Dan Marino, Justin Thomas. I mean, that's a pretty good starting five.
Yes. Yeah.
LeBron was in there.
Oh, LeBron was there? I didn't see that. Okay.
In the same room. LeBron was there. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis.
TJ, you didn't tell me? You didn't go?
I mean, I wasn't invited.
Okay.
Was in there?
All right, Pharrell, I saw him. So is it true that Stephen Ross made more coin for that day than he does for all the Dolphins home games put together? Is that true?
Did you read that somewhere?
I read that, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my goodness.
Who do you speak to first? Like, in that room, who do you want to talk to first?
Who do you want to? That's a great question. Well, some people are more approachable than others, too.
Okay. Out of everybody that you just mentioned.
Do you know who was surprisingly more approachable than I would have expected?
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Michael Jordan.
Is that right?
I knew it. I almost said it out loud.
Not intimidating. It was odd. I was surprised. LeBron was not as.
Oh, boy.
Can't
approach LeBron. You
Jeff,
don't do that.
The most approachable was Patrick Mahomes.
Of course. Jeff
Wonderful.
here on the Rich Eisen Show. Look at you,
Am
man.
I getting in trouble?
By the way, you always think you're getting in trouble calling into the show.
Well, because
you never do.
Now I got my legs up, just chatting away. Next thing I know, I hang up and there's some tweets.
He's not Snitchington, Rich.
He's Jeff Snitchington.
I'm
no.
not snitching,
right? Am I snitching?
No.
I'm a little worried about the Peyton thing.
Why? You're talking about, what's just you saw something. That's all.
Does somebody get the garbage duty? Like someone's a greeter? Like what happens when
Bill Gates?
Your job is
Does
to
Gates
take out the trash?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that they assigned that one to the Augusta members. But Lynn Swann stands at one entrance, and Peyton is at the other entrance.
Oh my goodness! All right, so what's the top story here from here on out? Now that Brady's signed and he's moved on. We're going to get the schedule on Thursday. Is it in fact none other than Baker Mayfield?
I guess so. I mean, Debo's still lingering out there too, but it sure seems like the 49ers are as interested in making sure that doesn't, that Debo winds up coming back somehow. But I'd say Baker's still, Baker's still, the thing about that is the Browns are going to have to get out of their own way with that one. They're not going to keep him on the team. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous notion that he could somehow still be on the roster this season. I understand they owe him $19 million guaranteed no matter what, but if a team is going to make a trade for him, they're not paying that $19 million. The Browns have to pay for most of it. And until their number comes down, they're not going to make that deal. So, I guess they see no rush, no urgency, especially now that the draft is over. But that's still got to be the next shoe to drop. The idea that Baker is on your roster after all of this at the start of the season is just a ludicrous concept.
Certainly with the concept that the Browns might have that, let's just say somebody gets hurt and now there'll be a market for Baker.
Really?
There's no guarantee that that if somebody gets hurt, the coach wouldn't prefer Jimmy G over Baker. Like that's not even a foolproof plan that you're banking on.
I guess the mindset of the Browns is, even though it's not a foolproof plan, it's better than just releasing him outright. Or, if there is no market for Baker, because all these teams know that at some point the price has to change, the Browns might as well wait a little bit longer too. I just don't know what you're waiting on. You're going to keep him through what? Middle of August, and then, like you said, some team has an injury, so they go get Baker. I guess that's where we're at. It's kind kind of exhausting, isn't it?
If you're Baker, you're just sitting around and saying, you know what, you drafted me first overall, and I stuck with the program, and we won a playoff game last year. We beat the Steelers. I went into Kansas City and helped stare down Mahomes, and I tried to play through something. And again, I know something was going on with Odell, okay, and him, and I know that he's not just the great bed of roses walking into his facility. You hear everything, right? But still, I mean, at some point, you got to cut bait. At some point,
Yeah, you do. And look, and I think that goes for Baker too. And I'm not putting words in his mouth, and I don't know what his mentality is, but he's got to do the same thing at some point. It sucks. It's a brutal, crappy position that he's been placed in. But he also is going to have to find a way to sort of get over that resentment so he can move forward with his career too. I mean, it's a bad breakup. And you can't carry that baggage with you to the next one. Nobody wants that. You know what I mean? I
do know what you mean. Jeff Darlington, thank you for the call and for your insight and for revealing what you saw at Augusta National. It's been nice.
Heavy name-dropping douchery.
You know what? It's been nice knowing you. After you gave that.
Is that a word I can say either? I don't.
That's okay. Jeff Douchington of ESPN here. On the Rich Eisen Show. Is this thing on?
This is the one moment I really wish I was still on NFL Network. You could throw to me.
No, we just reserved that for the Rich Eisen Show and Peacock. That's it.
Tampa Bay. Jeff Washington.
Take care of yourself, sir. You be well. Always appreciate it. That's Jeff Darlington here on the Rich Eisen Show. You should follow him on Instagram and Twitter. I do it. It's a lot of fun.
Jeff Snitchington. Did you really call him that?
I did. He was using the word over and over again. Suze must be locked into getting the news ready because that's normally one of her favorite words.
Yeah, it just went over her head.
Very good.
Okay.
No, I heard it.
She hears everything.
So proud.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.